Hello, everybody. Welcome back to E20 Zone TV. We're back in the building for the after hours edition. The boys are back, and we're looking forward to the weekend, and especially West Ham. To my right is Lucas. You know who he is, all the way from Maryland, US of A.
Melon.
Clive, all the way from Canning Town, the UK, and Mitch, all the way from Gideon Park. Via Hornchurch. Yeah, Lucas's ends in the UK. Gentlemen, how are we all?
Gideon Park in Ilford. Just make sure you come stop by, tap in with me before you come.
I know, mate. Mitch, how about you? How you doing, man?
I'm excellent, James. I'm very, very good.
You good, mate? Yes. Looking forward to tomorrow night, Luton.
I'm buzzing. I cannot wait. I'll tell you what, though, it could get a bit rowdy. I think Luton's first home game in the Premier League. I think it could be a bit chaos. Could get a bit sketchy outside the stadium. But bring it on.
You better bring your gloves,
fucking Chavs United are fucking heaven. Vikings versus the Chavs.
Right, we love it. 1 minute 23 in, lovely. Right, Clive, how you doing, man?
Yeah, I am very well, thank you.
Oh, good man, good man. Right, first thing I'm going to talk about is this, and that is E20 2 years on. Tomorrow is a special day for me personally. 2 years ago, tomorrow I started this channel, and I'll be honest, I never thought I would experience what I've experienced in the last 2 years by doing this channel. I will say that YouTube is an hard graft. I'm going to get the thoughts of the boys, and I'm going to sort of make my sort of little speech, and then we will move on to West Ham because that's why we're all here. But lads, talk to me about, well, your time coming on this channel, meeting me, dealing with me. I'm hard work, I know. So yeah, I'll start off with Clive. I'll let Clive have his first say. What are you saying, man?
Yeah, well, I mean, I've only been doing this for about 7 months, haven't I? So it's not been too shabby for me. I mean, yeah, I don't do as much work as say Mitch or Lucas or yourself. So, I mean, it's pretty simple. I just turn up and chat rubbish for you guys, and preach how great Souček is, and that's about it. You know, I make, yeah, exactly. Look, I turn up, talk about Souček, tell everyone how he should be captain, and my love for JWP, and that's where we go with this. I mean, it's a great few months for me. I mean, it just gets better and better. The summer's been fun, and obviously, yeah. I mean, it's also been on a more personal note. It's also been good fun, getting to know you guys, having a little WhatsApp group, meeting Mitch, meeting Lucas when it came to Prague, and little European final endeavors, and winning our first trophy in far too long. So obviously that was good fun. That was a great time, and obviously, getting to know more of the sort of West Ham Twitter crowd and whatnot. So look, I think it's a really good thing. It's it brings everyone closer together, and you get to meet people that you perhaps wouldn't on a game day, just because there's so many people and you don't really get the chance to do so, for instance. So it's a really good way, and it's just it's been good fun.
Yeah, this is an absolute pleasure. Me and Clive have clashed something chronic when it comes to Souček. I will say that, and had many a fights, but that's what it's all about on here, mate. Mitch, what about yourself? Like, obviously, you jumped on with me and all the boys back in February. You were on with me for a while, and I took the decision to take all yous on permanently with me. What you saying about E20, bruv?
So a few things, so my little piece. I haven't really prepared to speak, so I'm kind of doing this off the cuff, but I think
speech.
I think the channel we've created and grown together, but obviously mostly you, James, but I think we've done a great job. I think we've created a very good channel where we produce very good content, and I think we've gotten to a point where we're getting better and better, and we're progressing really well. And the friendships I've made on here with all of you, I dedicate my appreciation to you, James, on that behalf. because I would have never met Lucas if it wasn't for you. I wouldn't have met Clive or Alfie. So I do owe you a lot of thanks in that respect as well. But I think to see E20 grow and grow, especially in the last few months, the way it has, actually really proud, and I'm really happy with how it's going. And I know we always have our arguments, but it'd be boring if we didn't. So
That's
what it's all
facts.
about.
Yeah, listen, I hear you, brother. Listen, I've known Mitch for a little while, and obviously when Mitch come on with me, and one thing I will say about Mitch, he's passionate, and that's all I mess with is passionate people. I can't be having people around me who are just not passionate enough for this club, because I love this club to death, and everyone who I have on this channel loves the club to death, apart from Alfie, who is a secret Arsenal fan. But I will say that. But listen, Lucas, what about yourself, man?
Yeah, I mean, I really don't. It doesn't feel that long because really, when you're doing something you enjoy and it's based around something you love and you care about so much, time really does fly by. So for me, really,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know, just not a lot of words for me. Like Mitch has said, without E20, there's a lot of people I wouldn't have met. Wonderful people in the chat, people in person like Mitch, Clive, Alfie, and many others, even yourself. Without this channel, you wouldn't have helped me around Romford and Gidea Park when I first came over.
Paddington and all, mate. Like I walk around Paddington tube station.
Shout out to the lovely Holly as well for the second time driving me from the airport to Romford at the Travelodge. Shout out to her as well. But yeah, and listen, I don't plan on stopping on this channel. I want to get to heights that are unimaginable because I think there's so much potential here still and so many achievements that we haven't achieved. Like there's so many new heights that we can go to, and yeah, and I have no doubt that we can get there with the content that we've done, and the people that support us and back us in the chat. We appreciate you all. You're just as much as we are, and without your participation and just all that as well, I mean, we wouldn't be nothing. So yeah, E20's done a lot for me, and again, it doesn't feel like 2 years, but yeah, it's been 2 years, and I don't like Mitch said, I didn't really come with a speech. I'm not really a man of many words, but I'm thankful for what the channel has brought to me in my life, friends for a lifetime, and yeah, really, that's
it, mate. Listen, I love every one of these geezers who come on this channel, from Alfie to Mitch to Clive to Lucas. Don't get me wrong, we have had some Barneys. I've wanted to kill Alfie.
Let me not forget Tom Atherton as well.
And yeah, don't worry, I'm going to come to Tom. I haven't forgot about Tom. But the main boys who come on this channel, yeah, we do have some Barneys, yeah, and we have had so many Raz, but I wouldn't change them for the world. Do you know what I mean? When I started this 2 years ago, I had an idea in my head to say I wanted to speak to fans. Really, I just want to speak to fans and do what no other channel does, and basically get to the hard facts and basically talk about anything in regards to West Ham. I'm actually proud. One thing I will say, I said it last week, I'll say it again, I'm proud of what I've done, but also I'm proud of every one of the boys who comes on this channel, because they represent this channel very, very well, and some of them get a lot of disrespect, especially Alfie. When Alfie is on it, he's a very good man to have around. Like, he's a young man, he talks, but sometimes he loses.
Lad indeed.
Yes, he is very special indeed. But you know what? I'm going to make mine pretty short and sweet tonight. I am going to keep going. Like, do you know what I mean? There's been times before, as I said in the past, that I've thought, is this worth it? But it's definitely worth it. Do you know what I'm saying? Because I've got a good crew of lads around me where we ain't going to stop. We're going to keep going on and on and on until like the end, basically. Do you know what I'm saying? And I want to thank everyone in the chat also. Like all the people who have donated to us over the last few years. Some of the people like Jay Woods, I see a comment in there earlier. I remember that man when I was doing it for Hammers Poles many years ago, and I was sitting there in front of 6 people, and I was like, is this my life? Right? Is this worth it? And when you're trying to get motivated for 6 people, it's very, very hard work. Yeah. Now I'm sitting here with 115 people in the chat. So I appreciate all
Smash
the
a like for E20 Zone's 2-year birthday. It's 2 years old. Smash a
Everyone's got to hit the like tonight, surely.
Yeah.
Come on, boys.
Surely, yeah. But just to say this, yeah. Also, I want to thank all the YouTube channels. Yeah, all the YouTube channels. I do mean every single West Ham YouTube channel. Don't get me wrong. Some of them I don't get on with, and I won't lie. But they've all helped us in ways that like have helped this channel. Do you know what I'm saying? And do you know what? It's graft, this YouTube game. Like, it ain't a piece of piss that everyone thinks it is. Because if it was, then I wouldn't be sitting in this room, and Lucas wouldn't be sitting there, and we'd be sitting behind the fucking in a studio somewhere where we're not. So listen, I appreciate everyone. We crack on. Right, it's 2 years strong, and long may that continue. But we will move on to West Ham's ins and outgoings. Gentlemen, let's talk about football now. Clive, talk to me. West Ham,
yes, sir.
Signings. What you saying?
Yeah, so far so good. I mean, look, it's very clear we need a striker in there. We can't get rid of Skamaka and then go, let's just leave ourselves with Mr. Daniel Ings and Mikel Antonio, who blows very hot and cold at times. And don't get me wrong, I know obviously we've got a little youngster in Bama as well, but it's a lot of pressure for him to take on. Perhaps it would be more ideal if we could get him out on loan. But yeah, I think if we can fit out getting a last minute striker situation, I think that will help greatly towards this window. I think overall the window's been quite solid with who we've brought in. If you look, we've got Alvarez, Ward-Prowse, and Kudus for essentially the same price of what we sold Rice for, which I think is a good return, 3 for 1 there. And they're all decent players, so I think it's been a really good return on that basis. Look, we're not going to change the whole starting 11 and every position that's weak, overnight, and we're not going to do it over one transfer window. So I think to utilize the positions where we have so far and the rumors of who we're going for in the next 24 hours I think it's pretty solid. I think there's a good chance that we'll have a couple of ins and maybe one outgoing tomorrow. I think if anyone does go, though, it will most likely be Cornet. But I think coming in, if we can get Ekatike, then that would be ideal. Just I don't mind if it's a loan. I don't care if any of the remaining signings are loans with potential obligations to purchase at this point, because I think we've had a solid window.
Got to be better than Danny.
I will say that. Well, I was going to get to these super chats. First off,
go for it.
Keep up the good work, guys. Great stuff. Steve Bell, absolute gentleman. Donates to this channel quite regularly. One day, Steve, I will be buying you about 12 pints, I think, if not 100. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah. John T. James, this channel is the bee's knees. Love the views, opinions, and banter onwards and upwards for everyone at E20. Thank you very much,
you, John.
John.
Stacker is back. Stacker is back. I hope you're well, Stacker. If you could take 2 players from Manchester United, which ones would you take? Gents, any 2?
Go on, let's go around.
Wan-Bissaka, I'd have.
Yeah, I'd take Wan-Bissaka. To be fair, there's actually many. I'm just trying to think like if they would fit our system. But before I say
not Harry Maguire.
Yeah, but thank you to Stacker. Donates a lot as well. We appreciate that a lot. Who? See, like Bruno Fernandes.
I know straight away.
I'd take. Even though he's a rat bastard, I'd still take him. But like, would he?
Surely the number one's Rashford. Surely left wing, perfect, bang on.
Yeah. Who would you have, Clive?
I would take Marcus Rashford for the pace. We need a paceful striker, especially when we're counter attack. So that one's quite easy, and it also fits in the English quota. And then the other player.
You're talking about him as if we're actually going to sign it.
Yeah, I know. Hey, I've thought long and hard in the last 60 seconds about this, all right? And then Bruno Fernandes, I mean, you can't. Yeah, I mean, look, he's the amount of assists that he's a playmaker. He's good, but I think obviously we've got that sort of position filled, so it's a bit
I would go Rashford and Wan-Bissaka in my dream world.
Yeah, probably me and all. Alan Dunn also, Australian dollars $7.99.
Top man.
Shout out to Alan. Alan's all the way over in Australia. I spoke to Alan on Facebook. Absolute gentleman. Also, like I can't praise that man up enough. So thank you very much, Alan. Right. So I'm going to give you some names, and I'm going to tell me what you think. First off, number one.
Squid. Thank you very much, mate.
I will get to that one. Thank you very much. Happy birthday, 20. Up the lads. Great job. Thank you very much, mate. Pablo Fornells, first one on the list. What's going on with him?
Out.
Hopefully,
I want him out. I'm sorry.
Hopefully stays.
You want him out?
Yeah, there's no point at this point. I mean, where's he going to play? At this point, just let him live and let him play. I think that's why. It's not that I want him out and I'm like, oh, he's really rubbish and that I dislike him or anything. It's
I know where Clive's coming from. He wants to he wants to put the dog out of its misery.
Yeah, basically. He's in his prime. He's not going to get minutes. We filled out that midfield. If we end up getting Kostic as well, like Fornells is never going to play unless we get the whole team sent off in one go. It's just not going to happen. At best, he's going to play against Lincoln.
Chad, to Jerry. Also,
thank you, Jerry.
Thank you very much, mate. Mitch, what you saying? Fornells, yes or no?
No, I'd keep him. I think we don't need a big squad.
Is that because Alf is going to cry his eyes out?
Yeah.
Alf will cry.
Probably, yeah. No, I think Fornells can play on the left. He can play as an 8 or a 10. I think he's decent cover, and he can play in the cup games.
And he's like a perfect European player. Like you play him in the Conference League, you play him in Europa League, you know what you're getting out of him.
Lucas, Fornells, yes or no?
For me, I would like him to stay, but I do agree with Clive to a sense. Like we're gonna have a big squad this year, it seems, if the likes of Dings, Cornet, and maybe a few others don't leave. So his place could. It's weird because he could find himself on the outside, but in a short span of time, he could find himself back in because we all know Benrahma goes hot and cold. Cornet has not had the greatest of starts, and he can't seem to keep himself on side. So Pablo Fornells really is right there in the wing because we don't know what we're doing with Kudus yet. For all we know, Kudus could be – I don't want him to be a super sub or come off the bench, but we have no clue until – after the international break, probably what his role is going to be. And
it seems like interest in forwards has gone down besides from the striker role. So it seems like I reckon he's going to play some sort of formation where he plays on the left.
And same with Paqueta as well. We have no idea what that situation's looking like as well. So Pablo Fornells' future really is a mystery, but I feel like it can change within the blink of an eye. But for me, if we really want to push for some more silverware and up the league, you need players like Pablo Fornells in the side, even if – because would he want to play more? Absolutely, but I don't think he's going to force his way out because I think he doesn't know he has I would say he has an important role off the bench because he will be playing in the cup matches. He will be playing in Europa League, and we need players that are willing to do that.
Yeah. Yeah, listen. For me, it's an hard one with me because he's not my favourite player. I will be honest. But I think if he goes, it could ruin the morale of the side. Right, that is no joke. Right, so, I mean, he goes out the door, and then we're thinking, well, who's in there? Who really cares? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know he's saying bubbles to his kid, but like it's more than that. Really, he is. he is a spark.
It was good bubbles.
He is a spark in the dressing room. He very uplifting. The guy's always smiling. Like you want players like that in the dressing room. You don't want.
All Lucas wants is to be the kid that's been sung to. That's all he wants. He wants Pablo to give him "I'm Forever Blowing Bubbles."
Yeah,
so I just getting bummed.
But with Fornells, that's just a player that you almost have to keep for morale purposes, in my opinion. Because if he leaves, really. I don't know. I think it does more harm to sell him.
Yeah, I agree. Mate.
Unless Saudi comes in and gives us like 25 mil, then
I don't think it gives any harm.
Next up on the list is Ben Johnson. Mitch.
Hey, wait, real quick. On
This
three.
wanker.
On three. Let's give our thoughts with one word, in or out. 3, 2, 1. Out.
Out of here, baby. I've got to get Mitch's opinion. What you saying about Ben Johnson?
This motherfucker can get the fuck out. This punk ass mofo. You know what I mean? 10 grand a week. He says he wants a wage increase to signifies first team fucking bollocks. Like, this geezer's so shit. He's like, when people say
I agree. Go on.
When people say like worst players, West Ham,
Yeah.
Ben Johnson's one of the worst players we've had for a few years. In my opinion, he's terrible. He's absolutely terrible. He's got no use.
I wouldn't go that far.
I won't go that. Oh yeah, I don't know. Go on, Mitch. Let you go.
I think he's so shit.
I
think
think
he's a footballer. He's not strong. He's not quick.
Yeah.
He's very average defensively.
I think we've outgrown him
going forward. It's just like he's the biggest championship player I've ever seen.
I see what Mitch is saying.
QPR for the rest of his life.
For me, I personally think we don't do this much, but I think we've outgrown him as a player. I just don't think he's the standard anymore. Maybe two seasons ago, he was kind of the standard. You know what I mean? And then last year,
I'm going to ask the question though, and I'm going to answer it to all these. I just want a straight yes or no answer. Has Moyes ruined him as a player to a point?
No.
No.
That's all down to Ben Johnson.
Shit.
I said this back when we faced, what was it, Frankfurt? Ben Johnson's just slow. He registers what's about to happen, but 2 seconds too late. And in that time, the attacker is already in motion, way ahead of him, and Johnson's not going to catch up with that. So he's just... I did think originally, it'd be better he'd go out on loan or something. But at this point, I'm just thinking you're just not going to cut.
I agree, because I don't totally disagree that Johnson is crap. I think he's average, and I still do think he has potential to be a decent player, but I don't think we are the club to get that out of him. Like, he's going to have to go to – I think he does have to go to the championship, play regularly, and then if he does get promoted with a club, he could solidify himself as a decent Premier League player. But some of the stuff, I can't fault West Ham or Moyes, because to me, it's easy to see where a player is either not honing his skills or it's down to the system he's in. And for Ben Johnson, it has been 50-50 for me. But, like, take Thilo Kehrer, for example, right?
Right.
Ben Johnson and him at right back is completely night and day. And I've said it for time now. If you push Ben Johnson forward, he still won't go forward. He is inept at going forward. He's allergic to going forward for some reason. And Thilo Kehrer, while he might not be the greatest at going forward, he does it. And sometimes all you got to do is the motions, and it'll up your game a little bit. But, like, I think Ben Johnson has some decent qualities, but it's his, not his motor, but just like his work rate isn't bad. Just like he hasn't developed good habits, in my opinion.
I agree on that.
To heighten his game.
Listen, anyone who can't get in front of Kafal or Sufal, however you want to put it, when Sufal was or Kehrer, then there's something wrong. For me, if he wasn't an academy player, would we be really wanting to keep this man?
It's a weird one because he obviously is a regular with the U21s. He won the Euros with them. I don't think he's a crap player, but I just don't think West Ham can get the best out of him. And I think we've outgrown him as a player. He needs to go. If he played for a very good championship club, I think he'd shine, personally.
Yeah, fair enough. Next up, Thilo Kehrer. Gentlemen, thoughts?
Keep. Easy.
If Johnson's out, you got Kehrer would have to be in, or vice versa.
If you had to choose between the two, which one are you keeping?
Keep Kehrer.
I think Kerr is more versatile.
Yeah.
And he works better for us.
Yeah, Kerr was just a better player. He understands the flow more.
See, and that's the thing I was talking about with Johnson. Like, Stilo Kerr, he just like I wouldn't even say he's necessarily better than Ben Johnson, but like his habits and what he does, like that's what pushes him further than Ben Johnson. For literally,
he's a better. I don't know. Mate.
I think if I had to choose between them, I do think Stilo Kerr is a better player. But like, if Ben Johnson had the same habits as Stilo Kerr, I think Ben Johnson could be a very good player. But he doesn't. Like, if Ben Johnson could go forward, I think he'd be a complete different player. But again, he's allergic to going forward. And if you pushed him with a Mack truck, he still wouldn't go forward.
Yeah. So what are you saying? Keep or sell?
Keep.
Yeah.
Keep. But I understand if people said keep Johnson and sell Kerr. One of them's got to stay. But for me, I'm keeping Stilo Kerr.
Fair enough, mate. Right, before I carry on, please do smash a like on the video and subscribe to E20 Zone TV if you are new around here. Next
hit
up,
the notification bell as well. Don't forget about that.
Also hit
share with all your pals and buddies.
And that and all. Right. Next up on the list, Danny Ings, gentlemen.
He's just not going to go with the wage he's on. That's why he said no to Everton.
Are we going off the basis that we're going to replace him or no?
Well, we are going to have to replace him, but would you sell him right now?
If there's a replacement coming in, absolutely.
Yeah. What about you, Mitch?
I would. I think because if he was to sell right now, but he doesn't want to go. Yeah. But if he was to go right now, then we would make it our absolute priority to sign a striker. So yeah, I would give it to him now.
And it's a shame because I really do. I do like Danny Ings. I've always rated him as a decent Premier League striker, but ever since day dot, we all knew he was not fitting this system we were coming into. And I get why we brought him in.
Sullivan special, mate. Sullivan special all day.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, I get why we brought him in because we were basically in desperation at that point. It's like we either go get Danny Ings and hopefully there's a bit of a spark, or we have one striker.
If Scamacca hadn't been injured, basically,
exactly,
it's a different situation.
We had
to. Would never have signed him.
As much as people want to slate Danny Ings, and I am right at the forefront of that because it's not him the player, it's him being part of the system. We had to do it. We had to do it. If we didn't, wow, we would have been in huge trouble.
So what are you saying? Sell
for me.
What are you saying, Mitch?
I would sell him. Yeah, he's a good player to bring on. I agree with what Ben said, but yeah, on 125 grand a week.
And I'll give him his credit. Last match, he did save a goal off the line. So shout out Danny. Shout out Dings. He has the best nickname going. Dings. Love it.
Clive, yes or no? Sign or sell?
Keep. Just.
Right.
Are you going off the basis, Clive, that we wouldn't replace him?
We'd have to.
No, because I'm seeing it as Ekitike is coming in to replace essentially Scamacca. I would say it's more that Danny Ings comes and stays. I'm happy to keep him until next summer, essentially, and then he's got a year and a half in his contract, and I want him out. But I think we're just not going to get rid of him with the wage he's on. He knows he's going to have to go to a lesser wage, and I think whether he's said, "Oh, I'm going to fight for my place based on the money he's on," or because he actually loves the club, is two different things. It's hard to judge what that meant.
Well, yeah, I know. He loves a bad note.
I know.
I want to give Danny. Go ahead, Clive. My bad. Sorry.
Yeah, I think you're going to say what I'm thinking, which is I'd like to give him the benefit of the doubt. He's never suggested otherwise that that it was just the money, but it is probably a factor. But I would rather see Mbamba go on loan and keep Ings for a season, and then have Mbamba next season and get rid of Ings. If you're looking at like a long-term point, I guess.
And I do want to give Danny Ings some credit. He is an absolute top lad, I really think, and I think he enjoys being here as well. Don't get me wrong; he's earning mad P, but I think he does enjoy being here, and he is a good a good bloke to have in the dressing room, and everyone.
I would enjoy it and all if I was on 125 grand a week. So the
but you can tell though. I think he does enjoy being around the lads. He is good in the dressing room. He's not going to cause any problems. But I want to give him credit to that. For me, the only reason I'd sell him is just strictly because of the system we play.
Yeah. For me, I think if we can get a replacement, I think I'd let him go. But is he handed to having cup competitions and dead rubbers? He actually is. I'm going to say this. Now, make this one pretty short and sweet. And Bamba, loan him or keep him for the season.
If we're bringing in another striker and Danny Ings is not leaving, gotta loan him. He needs to play.
Yeah. What about you, Mitch?
Line 100%. Doesn't even matter if we don't get striker in. I think Kudus would even be a better option in that role because of the link-up playing that can run the channels.
A little false nine action, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Mbama's he just needs to kind of learn the physical side and the sharpness of the game a bit more. If he got it in his locker,
if he can go to a top championship side, I think that would be really, really good for him. Or actually, in general, if he goes to any championship side and gets a ton of minutes, it can only benefit him because we all know the championship will turn you into a man quickly.
Yeah, I agree. I think he needs a loan. Next up, and the final one, Maxwell Cornet. Keep him or loan him.
Sayonara.
Mitch is going to cry on this one because he's been crying out for him for years. Oh, shit. You know what I mean? Go on, Mitch. Go on, Mitch.
Maxwell. I like Cornet a lot. And I would keep him.
Did you?
Emotional damage.
Only because I believe there's a player in there. Obviously, I don't know the extent of his injury and how much that's affected his performance. I'm not Moyes. I don't see him in training.
Yeah.
But from what I believe, deep down in my heart, I would keep Cornet because I do think he's a very good player.
It's another tough one for me because the way I'm thinking about it is like, if we sell him, do we replace him or we're just getting rid of like some dead wood? I would say there are some players that if you're telling me we sell Cornet and we bring in someone else, I would 110% say sell. But if we're getting rid of him and no one comes in, I don't know how much I'd like it. But Maxwell Cornet, very weird one for me because I feel the same way as Mitch. I really do like Cornet. Like, I love the prospect of him. I love his profile. I love what he offers. It's just a mix of bad luck and in some performances.
And staying on side would help, I must admit.
Yeah, and he hasn't gotten a fair crack in certain circumstances. Like, he not only did he get injured, then he had that rare bone disease or whatever, which is sad. And then you mix in a few appearances off the bench where he gets called offside sometimes 5 times in a matter of 5 minutes. And it's like, what are we doing here? And to me, that doesn't come down to like sharpness or stuff like that. It just seems like sometimes his head's not on the match. But then again, how can you get right in the thick of things when you come on for 5 minutes? So it's a weird one for me. But he does plug a lot of holes. He can play striker. He can play both wings. Emergency left wing back. I would ultimately, gun to my head, sell or keep.
What are you saying?
I think I would buy the skin of my teeth. I think I'd keep.
If Costage was to arrive at West Ham,
get him out. Balkan boys on top again. Come on.
The Balkan boys are coming back.
I would fuck Cornet off then, yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah. I think basically when I look at it with Cornet, it just hasn't worked out. Just hasn't really worked out, let's be honest. Like I was expecting big things from him. And all the Burnley fans that I spoke to about 6 weeks ago, they're all raving about him. So how good he is. I'm thinking I ain't seen that at West Ham, but he
is good in my opinion. He's had
I agree with Dave.
really bad luck.
I don't think he recovered.
Really believe in him.
I don't think he recovers from the injuries that he picked up last year. I think it's a bit like when you listen to certain pros that know it's the end, but they continue just for the payday until they get some of their badges. I mean, when I say that, I'm looking at Jack Wilshere, Ledley King. There's a few of them that have continued their careers even though their career was done for. And unfortunately, I think Cornet's on there. I think ultimately he will go on loan to Everton with the obligation to buy. I think when Cornet goes, we get Kostic in, and we also get Lingard.
Yeah, I just think sometimes in life, the situation and the circumstance does not work out in your way. It's not down to really your ability or anything. Yeah. Sometimes it's just bad luck and bad circumstance. And with Cornet, he essentially got injured twice, didn't really start many matches. And when you're asking someone to make an impact off the bench for the last, for him at most 10 minutes, it is a tough situation for him. But off the basis that we wouldn't bring anyone else in, I'd keep him. But if you're telling me he leaves and Kostic comes in all day long.
Let's talk about some incomings now. We mentioned him just a minute ago. Mitchell mentioned him. I sort of had to say it through gritted teeth, and that is Jesse Lingard. I remember this time last year, Lucas, me and you done a video on him, and we ripped into him like a good one. What is your feeling towards him now?
Oh, it's a weird one because you got to put your personal thoughts and then obviously what's best for the club. Personal thoughts, what's best for the club. My personal thoughts, no matter how much I say it, I am a bit of a sucker when it comes to people. I do think people can change even if they don't show the proper steps. I always feel like if someone works hard enough, they can change as a person. And from what I've been hearing, Jesse Lingard has changed a bit. And I'm not saying that like, oh, giving up social media is such a huge step, because really it ain't. Like if you had to go without social media, you can do it. And as much as I love Twitter, I could do it if I put my mind to it. And with Jesse Lingard, I really don't know. Like, he really did, as much as people want to say like, oh, it was a financial decision, he was getting a bunch of money from Nottingham. He did toy with us. He did lead us on for a bit of time. And then the interview he'd done with Stephen Bartlett or whatever his name is, Diary of a CEO, which I do rate. He mugged us off. He really did. He told lies. And I don't care if I'm in the know or I'm not part of his family or no. He lied about certain things. And I don't know how I feel. But from the football side of things, if the deal is good, the wages are right, in this current climate, there's only one manager that's going to get the best out of him, and it's David Moyes.
He's saving his career, mate. That's what it is. Let's be real.
I think
his career's dead, isn't it? Let's be honest.
Not as much as I think people think, but in terms of like elite level football, I'd say yes. But if anyone's going to get the best out of him, it's Moyes. And really, we're in Europa League. We get random injuries all the time. And really, I think he would be a better addition than some people. Premier League proven to a point. And like I said, in a football climate of where we are right now as a club, I think it's worth the punt. But on the personal side of things, I am still a bit upset at him for what he's done to us. But obviously, we all know the best way to receive forgiveness, score goals, get assists, contribute.
And that's it. Yeah. Mitch, what about you? Lingard, yes or no?
You know what? I really could not give a monkeys. I couldn't care less. If he signs, happy days, kind of like not too bothered. If he don't sign, whatever. Really don't have a strong opinion on this one. So, whatever.
Fair enough, mate. Clive, what about you?
Yeah, I think I said last time, like I'd be content bringing him in as long as he continues to improve his work ethic, which is what the rumblings are, is that he has improved his work ethic. It's not just the come down on social media, it's also how he's applied himself in training. I think with Mark Noble being about, and that was the one thing that Lingard had mentioned about his time, was that Mark Noble was so influential in his time that it helped him improve. And I think with Mark Noble being in the background at the club, that does help. I think Lingard will be aware that there's a lot of challenging for the positions that he would want to be in with the signings that we've made this summer, so that he wouldn't be starting like he did last time when he was last with us. And he knows he's got to work hard because it's a short-term contract from what I've heard, based on appearances. So it's in his, it will be in Lingard's best interest to apply himself in order to
that's why it's
make
worth the
appearances. And it's also the English quota. So for me, I think there's a lot to it. Let him do the talking on the pitch as far as I'm concerned. He's the extra number. He has European football experience. He has got it in him. I'm more than happy to take him on a short-term contract as long as he keeps his mouth shut.
It's a win-win in my opinion. If it's a short-term contract till January and maybe there's an option to extend it to the rest of the season, it could really benefit us both, because Lingard, if he wants one more crack at the Premier League, he's going to have to show out in Europa League, the cup competitions, and off the bench. And if he does well, who knows? We could sell him on for however much money someone's willing to buy him for if he's putting in the performances. But with Lingard, I'm not going to be one of those guys that's going to absolutely slate him to death, and then like once he's back in, I'm going to celebrate like nothing's happened. It is going to be,
he's going to have to prove it.
Yes.
He's going to have to prove he cares.
And at the end of the day, if you are wearing claret and blue and you're on the pitch for West Ham United, I will back you. I will back you. And from what we've all seen, I think he has, I'm not going to say realized, but I do think he knows that he has rubbed a lot of us the wrong way. And I think he knows he messed up. And he knows that the only way he's really going to be able to repay us for the mugging off he's done is goals and assists. And if anyone's going to get that out of him, it's going to be David Moyes.
I actually think he's going to surprise us. I don't know why, but I don't see Kudus going on the left-hand side like people think. I actually think if Lingard comes in and he performs the way he did before, I think he takes Ben Rama's place. If you want me to be honest.
In competition,
going to play.
I think Kudus is going to play. I think Kudus will play, but I think that it all depends on the striker that we are going to talk about in a minute. If we don't get a striker, Bowen's going up front,
and boys.
Also, I think by November we'll know the situation with Paqueta. So you know, there is a. I hate to say it, with the amount of counts that have been given, I think there's a very high likelihood that we're going to see Paqueta being banned, and I think there's a very high likelihood that Kudus is going to slot in where Paqueta would be.
It won't be for a while, Clive.
Well, no, it's
November.
It's November because it's been pushed back by 3 months, and that's when the committee meeting will be. I think by December, January, the ban will have been put in place.
And we need competition at the end of the day, and whether people like it or not, Jesse Lingard, his relationship with the dressing room is completely unrelated to the relationship with the fans. He's going to be a bright light in the dressing room. The lads love him. They loved him when he was here before. And the whole Paqueta situation, Clive, I put right. And that Paqueta situation is, in my opinion, very 50-50, because by technicality, you could say it's not true, but at the same time, it is quite fishy.
Yeah, I hear, mate.
And we all know FIFA does not, or UEFA, whoever's dealing with that, they do not go off technicality.
No, exactly.
That is very, very, very true.
They'll do what they
want. Let's move on to strikers. Seems like Tim's been doing the air miles. He's gone all the way around Brazil. Now he's sitting on the beach somewhere. Do you know what I'm saying?
He's back in the UK, apparently.
Is he? Mate, them air miles he's getting in.
One more day, Tim. Then you can rest.
One more day, Tim. one more day, Tim Snyder. Right. Talk to me about strikers, gentlemen, because it seems like we're in the hunt for a few. Hugo Ekitike, is it? What do you make of it?
Okay.
Same thing. What are you saying?
Haven't watched him. I have really
Sorry,
I haven't watched enough of him.
I think he's a decent player, though.
I looked at his FBref, and it's not the worst thing in the world, but at this point, if we're bringing in a striker for depth, I'd rather him fit the system than be like just off football and ability. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's not someone that runs the channels. He's very much a Skamaka style of player. But just not as good. I really don't get it.
El Nesri?
I'd
think
rather El
people are
Nesri.
fucking deluded. It really winds me up actually. This one. How many people are creaming over Ekitike when like
he's a good player, Mitch.
No. Ekitike has had one half decent season where he scored 10 goals in a league that's not a top 5 league.
Pretty. I don't get it.
I would rather take.
I'd rather have, if I had the option of Ekitike or El Nesri, I'd rather take El Nesri. His form in his form in the last season hasn't been great, but his return overall, if you look at all competitions, isn't that bad even last season. Sevilla look absolutely dog awful right now. I'm trying not to swear. I'm trying to not owe any money at this point. But,
that's fine, man.
Don't worry, Mitch has run up the tab.
Mitch has already done it. What is it about?
Mitch at this point is going to have a bigger wage than freaking Ben Johnson once.
Yeah.
I think Sevilla at the moment, they look awful. Apparently, they need to raise some money as well. So, from my understanding out of it, I think it would be a great opportunity to steal him. And I'd rather him than Ekitike, unless in some technicality we manage to sell Daniel Wings and we also put on loan Mbama and we also sell Cornet all in 24 hours, then I'm more than happy to get Ekitike on loan and purchase El Nesri in one go.
That's the way I would do it. Ekitike on loan and then get one more
in a 24-hour period. You're going to be here for a while.
I know.
It might not matter in 24 hours time. It might not even matter.
I'll call him. Fuck it. I'll call him Hugo. That'll do. Do you know what
I mean? I want three strikers at this club with.
Well, that's why I've done 2 in, 2 out.
Yeah, so like, if we could get one of Enesri or Ekitike or Etikike, whatever the hell his last name is.
Okay. Hugo.
Yeah.
E-K-I-T-E. Oh God, I don't even know how to spell it. No, there's no point.
E-K-I-T-I-K-E.
One of them we need in, and I'll tell you this, in my opinion, if we get Enesri in, I will be a lot more confident for Europa League because we will have some lethal weapons up front. And I'm not talking Tom Cruise. Is that Tom Cruise? Was he in Lethal Weapon?
No, he wasn't. It was Mel Gibson.
The only Mel Gibson I know is Passion of the Christ. What a performance!
Yes, that was. That
is so weird. My mum and dad were telling me about that film last night. Said how fucked up it is.
The only thing fucked up about it is it's 6 hours long.
6 hours long, mate. Trust me.
The most messed up film ever is what's it? Clockwork Orange. That's messed up.
And real quick, quick shout out to movies. I watched an absolute classic the other night, Shaun of the Dead. Clap it up.
Oh,
yeah.
What a film.
Well, anyway,
Hot Fuzz or Shaun of the Dead.
Hey, yes.
Listen,
right.
No.
Shaun
Hello,
of the
Lucas.
Fuzz.
Hello,
James, your deciding vote. James.
Listen, right? Is there any chance of talking about
E20 birthday? E20 birthday. Come on.
Shaun of the Dead or Hot Fuzz?
Shaun of the Dead, mate, isn't it?
Yes.
Oh, Hot Fuzz for me.
It's Hot Fuzz.
Oh,
yeah.
You definitely are a country bumpkin. I'll give you that. Right, listen. So Hugo, yes or no? On loan?
Yeah.
On loan, yes.
Yeah.
Right,
yeah.
Fair enough. I agree.
Many better signings we could be making.
I agree on that, mate. That destroyed my youth, honestly, Blair Witch. 100%. That thing at the end. Oh yeah, done me in. So who else is there then that West Ham are linked with? Obviously, Costage is another person.
El Nesri has become
El Nesri.
Mate, I tweeted today. Could you imagine frickin' Kostic, JWP, and Kudus hovering over a free kick or a dead ball? Wow. That would be unreal.
But you say unpredictability, but it would just be more Perisic every time.
Well, no, yeah, but what I'm saying is Kostic, obviously the left-footed option, him and Kudus, because Kudus is known to bang in a free kick, and then JWP is a right-footed option. Obviously, we're not going to go JWP. There's going to be certain instances where we're not going to want to do an outswinger with him. But, and I tweeted today as well, Kostic and Emerson as a left back duo, that could be scary.
It's going to be mad, mate. I will get to that in the final segment.
What about that Fluminense guy? Was it Andre? We're rumored to want him, but in January. Yeah, apparently we want him, but in January.
What position does he play?
He plays in midfield. He's a midfielder. Liverpool want him, but apparently we're willing to go toe-to-toe with Liverpool under the direction of Tim Steidten.
I don't want a fucking midfielder. I want a forward.
Thank you, Joan.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Joan.
Joan, right, absolute legend.
Right, quick question.
Joan. I love Joan. I don't know who Joan is, but I love Joan.
Joan is the queen of the channel. Right, listen. Matson, yes or no?
Up the Geldom.
Oh, yeah. Matson 100%.
Get him in.
Yeah, I would.
Yeah.
Yeah, give me Matson.
Also, quickly, we didn't talk about Aaron Cresswell. Is he out the door at all?
Out!
No.
Out!
No.
Out!
No. Who are we bringing in? Who are we bringing in?
I don't care.
Don't get me wrong, I'd love for him to
disappear,
but he ain't going nowhere.
The goalkeeper, Mitch.
Ronnie Edwards. Right. Ronnie Edwards from Peterborough, yes or no?
Haven't seen him.
Yes.
But I like what I've seen. What was it? Over 100 senior appearances?
80 appearances. Old? 80 appearances for Peterborough.
Yeah.
Played at under 19, under 20 level.
I wouldn't hate it, but for 10 million more pounds, we could get Harwood Bellis.
Oh, I don't know. Hedgerow from Brazil.
You're just giving me first names. You're just giving me first names. All I know is vote for Pedro. Shout out Napoleon Dynamite. Great film.
No, mate. That was a good one. So that is probably it for everyone else. Do you know what I mean? As we sort of come towards the end,
we didn't even get to talk about the Star Boy who just came in.
We will talk about him at the end.
He deserves his own segment.
And that is where we come on to this. What can West Ham achieve this season with Kudus? Lucas, what are you saying about this season, mate? You're the person who told me, don't worry, James. What you worrying about? Your blood pressure is going to go through the roof.
That as well. I said that.
Fair enough, right? You said
it goes caved. It is caved. Get it out. Get it out.
But
get it out.
You know, it is what it is. We don't talk about that. Anyway, very happy birthday to all the team and E20 is on TV. Have a birthday beer on me. Keep up the great work. Love you guys. Come on, you Irons.
Thank you, Keith. Absolute legend.
Yeah, he's an absolute gentleman.
Along with anyone else that regularly donates, it's not. We don't expect any of that stuff, but it is. Yeah. We appreciate it a bunch. You guys are legends for that.
It just goes back into the 100%. Channel. Right, what can we achieve this season? People are saying top 8. See, people are saying top 6. I'm going to say this, and I'm going to let you speak.
All right.
Top 6, 10-1. Top 7, 5-1. Top 10, which is the bet of the season, 5-6.
5-6. Terrible bet. Terrible.
That is mate. I like backing.
That's free money.
That is free money, though, bruv. There is no way I can see West Ham right now finishing below 10th. Not the way
we take Antonio's season injury, and it could completely fuck us up.
I actually think we might.
We got goodness, bruv.
That's right.
We don't know if Kudus can play as a striker in the Premier League.
Well, it ain't gonna be fucking corner. I know that. Just Clive, go on, son. Take it away.
I generally think we might finish 6th, and I think it's more on the basis of the unpredictability of the league. I think the top 4 are potentially foregone conclusion. I think it'll be Manchester City. I think Liverpool, Arsenal, And I do think Newcastle, even though they've not started off well, will be in there as well.
Yeah.
But I think after those top four, it becomes very sketchy. I think Manchester United are very lucky to have 6 points. And they've looked absolutely awful. I think Spurs have had a good run so far, but that's going to end very soon, just like their cup run ends very quickly.
They are allergic.
Yeah, Chelsea still
oh my God, so Chelsea for tomorrow. Yes.
I
just realised.
And Fulham's midfield is about to get decimated in the next 24 hours. They're already going for McToast over at Manchester United, and they're about to lose Paulinho. So I think when you look at all the other aspects, Brentford potentially could get a European spot. I think Villa will struggle doing Thursday, Sunday. I think Brighton are going to struggle doing Thursday, Sunday. And then when I look at the rest of the league, they're going to be bottom half. So I think when you look at all those aspects, I think from 5th onwards, the league is very unpredictable. And I think we've got a very good opportunity, whilst some of the typical big 6 or big 7 now might miss European spots for a second year running, I reckon. And Chelsea are clearly going through a rebuild because they're buying everyone under 23. I mean, they've paid stupid money for Cole Palmer. I don't know how he costs more than Kudus, but here we are. We live in this world where Cole Palmer is more money than Mohamed Kudus. But
one thing I'm going to say before I hand it over to Lucas and Mitch, I think, I know people say about the 5 to 6 top 10, but I just don't see how we don't finish top 10. I really don't. I look at the strength in the side. I know what people are saying about Antonio. Antonio goes down, who we got. If we go out and sign 2 strikers, if El Nesri turns up at West Ham, we're finishing top 10. Simple as that. I don't care what anyone says.
It's completely out the window.
Right? It's never out the window. We've got Tim Steiner,
goals again. We're scoring goals. Last season, that was our issue. The previous seasons before that, we were scoring goals freely. We were always conceding a lot. It's just we were not. It's just last season we conceded less, but we scored nothing. I mean, what was it? We got to about 22, 23 games into the season, and we were basically scoring less goals than there were games at this point. Whilst we've already put 7 goals in the first 3 games. So, but I think I just
don't see how we don't get in top 10 though, Clive.
I agree.
It's traditional top 6. You've got Brighton, Aston Villa, and Newcastle and Brentford.
Did you just beat traditional top 6?
Huh?
That is not a traditional top 6, bro.
That's outside the top 6.
No. I'm saying you've got the top 6, and then you've got Brentford, Villa.
Would you say right now
better than them teams?
Yeah, but would you say right now that we've got a better squad right now than Brighton? Than Brentford, sorry.
We've got a better squad than Brentford. We've got a better squad than Brighton. But I mean,
in my opinion, we've got a better squad than Tottenham right now.
I agree,
yeah.
So, but that's what I mean. I think outside top 4, where I say it will be Newcastle, Liverpool, Arsenal and Man City, I don't think the league applies this top 6 or anything. So, I think from 5th place onwards is literally up for grabs.
I agree with that. I think it is up for grabs.
And I think it's definitely ours to lose. I think there's a very high possibility that we could actually qualify for Europe again next season.
With a big squad, anything is possible. And I think if we do keep a big squad, say if we don't even bring anyone else in, I think we have enough focal point players where even if we surround them with backups, I think we could still get the job done in most circumstances, maybe bar the Premier League, because you've got to play your best in the Premier League. And we've bought
a lot we've invested a lot into that midfield with playmakers that assist, that score even. Kudus, JWP, they're people that are going to assist. They're people that are going to score goals. We struggled with set pieces last year, and dead ball moments. We struggled. If
JWP was a stock, I would have put everything I owned into him.
Yeah, I genuinely think this season scoring will not be an issue. It's just whether we can defend enough to perhaps the ability that we did some of the games last season, because I don't think we conceded as many goals last season as we had in some of our previous seasons where we finished in European positions.
Yeah.
For me, for me, what we can achieve, in my opinion, this season, I think there's endless possibilities. Because, like I said, if we keep a big squad and the certain players that might not play a lot of Premier League minutes, they'll see the Cup, they'll see Europa League, and those players are more than good enough for that level of where they're playing. But some of it comes down to who we bring in, who goes. But mate, I just think I won't necessarily agree top 8 minimum, because like Mitch said, there are other clubs that have done great business, and there's some good teams. And I'm not saying it can't happen, but I'm not going to get my hopes up. But top 10 has to be a bare minimum, because we've got the squad, we've got the players, and I think we know what our tactics are going to be this season. But mate, when you add players like Kudus, JWP, like mate, JWP, I can't talk about him without getting emotional.
I'm going to say this, yeah, and then I'm going to get your final thoughts. I think it's nailed on for top 10 now. I've seen enough of the first 3 games to say, you know what, we're going to be hard to beat.
That's one of those investment bets. Like, I'd put 100 quid on it, mate, and just come back to it later.
I've put quite a lot of money on it. Just don't tell my missus. But anyway, I will say this. I think top 10 is on all day, yeah? I actually think West Ham can get top 7. I really do. I think if we've got the strikers tomorrow...
I think we can win the fucking league.
Fair enough, Mitch.
Hey.
Fair enough.
Yes, Mitch, he's on board.
If we beat Luton tomorrow and then we get something against Manchester City, the title race is on.
You know what's going to happen, right? We're gonna lose the Luton, and then we're going to beat City.
I know, and it's just on the cards. Do you know what I'm saying? But I'm going to say this.
We need to wait for tomorrow.
Yeah. And you're going to be there.
See if we can break Luton down. If we can, and we do have a convincing scoreline, I'll be much more optimistic for the season. But
yeah, I think
until I see us break a team down and actually beat a team convincingly, like the smaller teams, then until the moment,
right,
I'm slightly.
I'm just going to say this to you, yeah. I'm going to say this to you. I want you to give me a number in the league where we're going to finish. Mitch.
10.
Just 10th. Clive.
6th. I know it's ambitious, but 6th.
Lucas.
I don't mind optimism, but if I had the way I do these, like if I were to put my own money on it, I would say 9th.
9th. I am going to say, which I've got on today, a 5-1 at West Ham finishing the top 7. I strongly believe we will finish in the top 7 all day. I think if West Ham go out tomorrow, sign a striker or 2, get the left back situation sorted out, we're cooking this year.
If we're going off that, I totally agree. Yeah. But just based off today, in this current time,
and we've got Mohamed
p.m., 6:05 p.m. I think top 10 is on. But if we get Enesri and Kostic, wow. The possibilities are endless. We could finish 12th, win the FA Cup and Europa League. I don't know. But if we add players like that, I mean, Christ above.
The world.
Even though I said 10th, it would not surprise me one bit if we were to finish, say, 5th or 6th this season. It is really possible.
I actually do strongly believe that.
Because there's a lot of variables we have to think about, like Villa in Europe, Brighton in Europe.
Villa have got a lot of injuries, and if you actually look, they've conceded a lot. I mean, they lost 5-1 to Newcastle,
and obviously Brentford. They've had a decent start, but I can see them continuing without Tony. Like once Tony comes back, I think they'll be back to the regular scheduled program.
They've made a £35 million bid for the striker over at PSV, but
rejected him, hasn't he?
Oh yeah, okay, there you go. I didn't know that. Yeah, that's it. But I don't know. I think Brighton are going to struggle with the Thursday, Sunday. I
do as well.
I think the same with Villa. Villa have obviously lost
their depth isn't that great
for probably the whole season with Mings, haven't they? Really. So I think Villa are going to struggle here and there as well. And yeah, I don't know. I just think I really think the league is going to be properly blown up. I think Chelsea are going to really struggle this season. I even think Spurs are going to struggle ultimately, unless these teams make signings in the next 23 hours and 53 minutes. I don't think there's much that can really be said. I think we're in a strong position compared to a lot of other teams.
My final thing in closing on how I see the season going, I think we have a lot of different avenues to have a good season. Like, I know a lot of people weren't really happy with last year, even though we won a trophy, which in my opinion, I think is crazy. Like, if you win a trophy and don't get relegated, happy days for me, especially with how long we've gone without one. But we have a lot of different avenues to have a successful season. League Cup, who knows what could happen with a big squad. FA Cup, who knows what can happen with a big squad. Europa League, if Premier League isn't going well, or we succeed in both because everything's clicking. But I'm excited for this season because there's just so many avenues that we could really be having a fun time.
I absolutely agree, mate. I'm pretty confident. I'm going to say this before I wrap this up. I'm pretty confident this year. I've seen enough in the first 3 games, as I say, to go, you know what, I think we're going to be all right. I sense a COVID season coming, big time, where we're going to be electric in certain games. It's going to happen, gentlemen. I'm telling you, I believe. I know it's going to happen. Right, listen, we're going to wrap it up there. Clive, thank you very much for coming on, mate.
No worries, thank you.
Mitchell, enjoy tomorrow, son. You're going there. You're going to be in Luton. You're going to be a part of the...
He'll be drinking in someone's garden.
You'll be having
Chav.
Chav FC against Mitch.
Thanks.
I know, it's bad, isn't it? And Lucas, thank you very much.
Out, you cunt.
Oh, lovely, Mitch. Thank you very much. You know what I mean? Twat. Lucas, thank you very much for coming on. Really do appreciate it, mate.
Yeah, no problem.
Right.
I'm from
tomorrow.
Oh,
he's from Baltimore, DC, and he will shoot you in the head. Right. Tomorrow, me and Clive are doing a live watch along for the Europa League draw, lads. You know what I mean? So
I'll tell you what, I'm scared of that.
Thursdays?
I'm getting very what's the word? I'm very nervous about that Group F for Champions League because whoever finishes third falls in. Or
yeah. So
you know
that was what I tweeted earlier. So there's going to be one of PSG, Dortmund, Newcastle, or who's the other one? AC Milan. No, I said Dortmund. So AC Milan, Dortmund, PSG, or Newcastle.
The crazy thing is, I hope Dortmund falls in. I think they're not the greatest
Dortmund
out
did
of those.
Before, yeah. Dortmund did before. I'll tell you what I'm more worried about. I just don't want to face Roma at all in this because they've now got Lukaku. And we know what love Lukaku has against us.
No,
to
he's a bum. He's finished.
Yeah, but he still will score against us, and you know that.
He'll still score against us, Mitch, and you know it. Right, so anyway, we're doing a watch-along tomorrow at 11:45 midday. And tomorrow night, we will try and... Well, you might have to. Tomorrow night, Mitch is going to be there. After fall, probably be a late one. I will say that. And me and Clive will be doing that. Lucas is going to Charlotte this weekend.
Any Charlotte hammers on the East Coast? Well, yeah, Charlotte is East Coast technically, but yes, I will be in Charlotte, North Carolina.
Give us three words to describe Charlotte. And not
never been there.
Michael Jordan, Tar Heels. That's it.
Yeah, Tar Heels, tobacco, and chicks, barbecue, tobacco.
Fair enough. Yeah. Fair enough. That's it. Idiot partying. And also, just to say this, on Saturday morning, me and Clive, yet again, right, we don't stop on this channel other than them two, right, him and him down there, because he's going out for his birthday. That me, 23.
Hey,
getting old, isn't he? Yeah,
living the dream.
Mate, if you come back on this channel and you've got a black eye, mate, from getting chinned by one of the chavs, then you are going to get taken the piss out of.
That'd be funny as fuck, wouldn't it?
It'd be hilarious, mate. Right, that's enough from us. Please do smash a like on the video. Please do subscribe to E20 Zone TV. Listen, thank you very much for all the people who donated tonight in the super chats. Totally appreciate it from me and all the boys. And we will be back again soon. West Ham United make sure you get it done tomorrow night against Luton. From me to you, take care of yourselves. Peace.